backlog's going to be? I mean, how many kits are out there?
We don't know. I mean, we simply do not know. We have no way of knowing. We've already started receiving backlog kits from Cuyahoga County. Total from Cuyahoga County, Matt, do we know what those are? Steve? 2,000. 2,000 from Cuyahoga County alone that will be coming in. They've already started to send those to us. We just don't know. It is a difficult, without getting too far into the weeds here, it's a difficult thing to determine because we know how many rape kits went out. What you don't know, and you know how many came back, what you don't know is how many were never used at all and therefore are don't become a problem and don't become part of the backlog. So it's difficult, frankly, to determine exactly what that backlog is.
Attorney General, what's the cost of the new unit and how are you going to fund it?
We have 4 people who are going to be in this unit. Tom Stickrath can get you the figures later today what that will cost. This is a brand new unit, so these individuals will have to be trained, have to go through the normal process. Thus, you have the 1,500 the first year, and we'll kick it up to 3,000 of those people every year thereafter. So, you know, this is. I'd made a decision to do this in this way because, candidly, I was concerned that you would never get to the backlog if you threw them all in together. And so we need to start working on the backlog at the same time we're dealing with the current cases.
How far back do these kids go?
They go back a ways. They could be their years. Any estimate what Cuyahoga's is, for example?
From the early 90s, I believe.
Could be the early 90s.
General DeWine, does some of this come out of the fact of the Anthony Soule case in Cleveland? And
I think that got it. Yes, I think that clearly got everyone's attention, and I think that case, without going through all the facts, I think that case demonstrates that you want this information even if you don't know how you're going to use it. You want this information even if you don't necessarily have a linkage and can link it up, because in the future you may be able to link it up. And I think, you know, we've made great strides in this state and across this country in getting the DNA profiles in the National DNA Database. And so the testing of these kits, while they may not lead, each one certainly may not lead to an arrest immediately, adds to our knowledge, adds to our ability to solve crime in the future, adds to our ability to keep these sex offenders off the streets.
Mr. Attorney General, I apologize if you've already covered this, but what
Mr. Cohen, you were late. How are you, sir?
I was told you were going to start your news conference at 10:30.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bill.
10:30.
Sexual Assault Commission moved very quickly this morning.
Can you tell me, the police are telling you, why don't they use these kits more? What's their justification, and what are you saying back to them?
We're not in any way being critical of police officers or agencies. They have a lot of budgetary problems, and there were many reasons for the different decisions of why not to submit. And you really would have to talk to these agencies. But there's never been clear-cut guidelines in the state of Ohio. In some cases, people very understandably feel that if we can't make an immediate connection, you know, we should not do this. This commission looked at that attitude, and this commission basically said, unless we have a situation where the law enforcement agencies or agency does not think a crime was committed, does not think that there was really an assault, we should test it, because this is valuable probative evidence and very, very important. So I totally agree, and this is a fairly dramatic change in the policy in the state of Ohio. It will be up to each jurisdiction what they do with this. But my job as Attorney General, I think, is to try to set the right standards. And I didn't just make it up. We did it with a commission that has vast experience in this area. They came back unanimously with this recommendation. My second job as Attorney General in regard to this, I believe, is to make it possible for local law enforcement agencies to be able to submit it. It doesn't do any good to have a policy if they have no place to take it. And so what we are saying is bring them. Bring them to BCI. Bring them to the Attorney General's office. We will process them.
So what will be the fallout of if you get this number up to 90% instead of 50? So what will that?
We're probably going to jump from 1,000 submissions. I'll make sure I got the figures right. 1,000 submissions at BCI every year. I'm talking about future cases now. 1,000 every year to 2,000.
And so what will that mean then in terms of, will there be
A lot of work.
more people indicted, more people put in jail? What will
Yes,
it mean?
it's going to mean that victims will have their rape kit tested. That victims will be able to be assured that we are doing everything as a society to catch their assailant. Even if we can't catch their assailant today, we may be able to catch their assailant 5 years from now because that rape kit was tested today. And so that's really what this is about. This is about justice for victims. This is about doing what's right. This is all about leaving no stone unturned to go after those people who are sexual predators. And it's the right thing to do. That's what it means.
So, just to follow up on what Bill was saying, when say a rape occurs, rape kit's turned in, is it the cost of the individual police department or sheriff's department to turn that kit in, or is the cost borne on the state?
Well, what we're really talking about is where there's been a rape kit already done.
Right.
So there's no additional cost to the local police department other than transmitting it to BCI, which might be, the gasoline in the car and
Sure.
whatever. But we take the burden of doing the testing. This is our job. It's always been our job to do that. No change in that. We're just saying, change in policy, we're going to get a lot more. And all of these, quite candidly, we're estimating the numbers. We know we get about 1,000 a year now. We think, based on all the evidence that we have, that's going to increase almost double.
How do you address on the other side of that, I'm sorry, how do you address on the other side of that, you hear these statistics about victims of sexual assault who are afraid to come forward and do these kits? Is there any sort of education that is going to be done in the departments to encourage
one of the
kids to
things
do
that we do at OPATA, Ohio Police Officers Training, Bob Fiatolo is here. We have a robust effort to assist law enforcement and to work with law enforcement. But candidly, this is something that has evolved over the years. When I was a county prosecuting attorney, society didn't do a very good job helping victims. The victims were helped on an ad hoc basis. My chief assistant, Bill Skink, and I would work with the rape victims, but I know people literally fell through the cracks, and it wasn't a systematic process. Today we have much better systems. Virtually every county in this state has a victim program, and a lot of these are funded through the Attorney General's office. A lot of training comes through the Attorney General's office, and it's something that we are very, very deeply committed to.
General, so you're going to have you have 1,000 now. You're thinking it's going to double to 2,000.
That's on current ones.
That's the current ones, plus the unknown side
Yes.
of the backlog.
Yes.
And then, what's the cost per kit to process? And is processing automated, or do you have to have human beings?
No, you always have to have human beings. But one of the things that's occurred at BCI is we now have the robots that are online, and that's going to significantly speed up the whole process. And that's a significant change.
Attorney General.